Hello awesome people, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Startup Panic, where this is the last episode that I have to do like a post editing commentary because I forgot to unmute my mic when I started my recording session last time out. So I hope you guys are still enjoying the series, even though this is a little bit of a weird 3 episodes in a row. Next time I'm gonna remember to unmute my mic. But yeah, if you didn't hear before, I forgot to unmute my mic when I started the recording session because I had a meeting before. I basically went from work right into recording for you guys, and yeah, it didn't work out that well, so I had to do some post commentary, which it's kind of a thing because it takes more time. But yeah, let's go into the video. So we have some new research, API documentation. That's for that one that we are clicking right now. It's the last one. We should be able to do this, hopefully, I presume, but I'm not sure. Last time out we tried to push notification, it didn't went so well. We're really starting to feel the difficulties of I would say sort of the difficulties of making certain of the features. They require more and more stats and more people, and we're starting to hit that wall right now, what I was talking about in the last few episodes, of not being able to actually get it done on our own. We have to really get the most out of the sliders, and that's what we're going to try and do here today. So for now, we are going to change up these sliders. This is also on my part. The push notification, I just didn't assume it would take that much technology in the game for the feature. I thought it would be a little bit more balanced in a way, with at least usability. But no, it's not. So, we have to kind of worry about that a little bit more. Also started using the post-mortem reviews after we sort of make features and it's not good enough, and not good enough is everything below a 10. So yeah, we're kind of working our way through that as well. But yeah, it sort of opens up the game. And I actually said in the original recording, well, this is the original recording, I'm just blabbing over it. Oh, we lost some money because we sued someone and we tried to, they stole our logo and colors and stuff, but yeah, let's see what we get. We get well, it's not a 10 out of 10. It's better. It's an 8.4, but it's not a 10 out of 10. So we're going to do another post-mortem review, like I just was talking about, seeing what we can develop, basically, where we can take away parts of the slider and where we have to, be careful. As you can see, we can take away from both sides usability and aesthetic to increase technology here. So that's a pretty good result because it makes sense, but we will see later on in this episode that it doesn't always make sense in a way. We're doing quite well. Market share still growing. We're 26% right now. I mean, our last competitor is quite tough. He's also quite doing a lot of marketing, which sort of counteracts the fact that we are building a lot of good new features. So yeah, there we go. We drop these down a little bit and bam, drop up the technology bar and see what we can do there. But yeah, we're really, when I was doing the original recording, I was talking about it at this point. I think it was at this exact point where I was talking about the fact that I really enjoy the fact that we are now having a bit more difficulties trying to make these 10 out of 10 features. And we really have to dive a little bit deeper in the sliders in the sense that we have to figure out what we actually have to do. If you think logically, a lot of the features, as long as you have enough stats, it's really easy to get them going. You might miss out once or twice and not get a full 10 like the first try. Or, people are not motivated enough and you sort of get a debuff and that's it. But the thing is, it's not that hard to actually get the features to be very high if you are thinking like logically about what the features should need. And I guess that's the game itself. Oh, we got a 9.8. So we're at a 9.7 for the technology. But again, we have to see where we can take away some of that sliders percentages to add to the technology. We do need a little bit more. As we can see here, we can take away from usability, not from aesthetic. It's less than enough. It's less than enough as it is, but it still was a 10 out of 10. Remember that. For aesthetic. So yeah, easy. We're gonna go notification, get our motivation up to 100% again, and then try again while taking away from the usability and putting it into the technology slider, as we will see right now. Right? Go on, Hip. Speed up. How much more are we going to take away? Are we going to actually take 5%? Yeah, we're going to take 5%. Okay, that's quite a lot. But, you know, I'm not going to argue with past me, I guess. Yeah, I really enjoy the fact that we have a new investor. Well, not a new one, but again, an investor. I really wish you could sort of turn those off once you've met them. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. That is becoming a lot harder, the game now, to actually get a 10 out of 10. I want to get 10 out of 10s as much as we can. I think we're close to hitting that wall of not being able to anymore. Just because we can't improve our stats anymore. They're maxed out, and we're just not gonna. It's just not enough at some point, right? So that's the thing here. Some politician, let's publish it. Always check it. Let's just take the gamble and see if it works. And there we go. It's a 10 out of 10 out of 10. Awesome. We actually did it, but it did take like 4 tries or something to get this one right. So, that's the thing we have to remember here. It takes a lot more tries. We could do this one, maybe do the research. But it also requires stats. The recommended stats are 11 for 4 people. And that's the thing. The recommended stats go up. And we have the similar there. So this is the one with 9 for 4 people. This one has 8, but for 5 people. So I'm not sure how that should work for us. These ones have 13. So that's where we're going to really hit the wall at some point. That it just, our maxed out character is just not enough anymore. We just need more stats, basically. And we can't get them. So the next logical one is the game review, because that has a 9 recommended stats for 4 people. So it kind of makes sense. At this point I was really thinking about what do we do, because the last one did take a lot of effort, and are we able, I was losing my confidence in are we able to actually get these all 10 out of 10s. Probably not. That's the oh, this is also fun. Alberg, our first competitor, comes in saying that we've beat them. I think it's fine to say that he was already beaten a long time ago, but if he just wants to come in and say that we're lucky and all that stuff, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, this is from the politician. We got some small, and look at their market share, 33%. Okay, it goes down now because some of the sort of buffs went away. So, but still, 30% on our own in our bedroom against like multi-million dollar companies over the entire world. It's insane. It's really, really cool to think about. But yeah, that's what where we are right now. Kind of makes sense. Look at our money as well. 350k, over 350k. I think we might hit 500,000 this episode, but I'm not sure. I have a vague memory of hitting that number, but I'm not sure. So yeah, here I'm really debating what we should do. This seems to be the logical option, the game review, but I'm a bit worried about, the fact that it also has recommend stats 9. It's the same as the push notification, and that one was a real like hassle to get right. We're still going for it though, and we're gonna start with this sort of the general setup, the basic setup of 40-40-20, and seeing what we can do with that. And sort of work from there. At this point, I'm already like, okay, it's not going to be perfect the first try, so we might as well just go for a basic setup and see how we can sort of get a baseline in and then work from there. I'm not even trying to really get the 10-10 immediately anymore. Well, not necessarily. I'm trying, but I'm a lot more realistic, I would say, in the sense that that's probably not going to work. So yeah, that's what we're at here. So. Let's see what it's going to be. I think... Oh, let's help the church or a local charity. I didn't really see. Oh, we actually got quite close. A 9.3. We need to upgrade the usability here. Oh, that's actually quite nice. We might actually be able here to really do something worthwhile. We got our trade points. There's no point in really going for the last one, because the last one is sort of... Yeah, it shows there, employee kidnap probably. I even show it in the video. There's no point in doing that because we don't have a team. And at this point, I'm thinking I don't really want to go for a team. I just want to finish this up solo as like a real solo challenge season and not sort of dive into also the team at some point. But there we go. We do the game review. We have less than enough for usability, less than enough for aesthetic. It's still a 10 though. And then we have enough for technology. So we can take a little bit away from technology and then bring it to usability in order to get a higher score. But remember, it was an 8 or something like that. We need to take quite a bit to usability. And that's not easy because we don't have a lot of options there. It already says that the static has less than enough. It's still a 10 out of 10 though, because we're just really skilled. But it says it's not enough, so we can't take away the 20%. So the only thing we can do is take technology away, because that said it had enough. I'm even explaining this here in the video, if you look at my mouse, saying that we can't touch the static because it's less than enough. Bumping up the usability, I mean, this is going to make a difference, but I was already sort of skeptical that this was going to do the trick and bring us up to a 10 out of 10. I was even thinking that we might actually drop down from a 10 from the technology standpoint. And get the usability to a 10, which I think is not the case. I think at this point we just the 5% extra is not going to bring usability from an 8 to a 10. It's just not. You know, realistically, it's just not. It's too much. There's too much difficulties in every topic now for every feature, so it's just not. 5% is just not enough to make that bump of like 2 points. So we will see here. We got close. We got, you know, we get to 9.5, but we are at a 10 out of 10. So what are we gonna do the post-mortem review, or just no? We're actually gonna do the review. Yeah, I wanted to see if we could take a little bit more technology away to get that extra like 10 out of 10. And this is where it gets interesting, I think. Yeah, look at that. Less than enough. Less than enough. Less than enough. But we're so close to a 10. But how can we get a 10 in technology and a 10 in aesthetic if it's still less than enough? That's the weird thing here. I'm also going into marketing a little bit more now, trying to think about our market share, trying to up that market share, looking at the different sort of things that are going on. I think at this point we're even going to do a marketing setup a little bit. Now looking at the demographics about the and the preferences. Kind of looking at what we are doing and why we're doing things. We have an adult one here, but we also see that, hey, there's a lot of kids here, 28%. They like gaming. We have some gaming stuff. Let's go for kids. So we're gonna go for I don't think we end up going for this because it's a lot to do. Yeah, recommended stats 21 for 5 employees. That's not something we can do. So I quickly go back to the radio and go for Radio Dozy for the kids. Also, the costs are not that high. We're gonna go for gaming. So we're gonna actually do some marketing here. I noticed some of you guys have been saying this in the last, you know, in other episodes. You know, do some marketing. Don't, you know, don't just leave it alone. Go for marketing. You have to do some marketing. And you're actually right. I should have done that a long time ago already. Even though I also think that in a solo challenge, it isn't necessarily the best thing to do. And the game doesn't need it. That's the other thing, right? It doesn't need it necessarily. So this is the old sort of post-mortem review or evaluation or whatever. And I'm just, at this point, I'm just debating, while we're doing the marketing things, I'm just debating, okay, how are we going to fix this? It's not good enough now. We don't have any... You know, according to the post-mortem, we don't have any space to move the sliders. So what are we gonna do? Are we actually gonna just continue and leave it at what was it, a 9.8 or something? At least not at a 10 out of 10. Or are we, and it's sort of at that point we're gonna sort of agree with defeat, right? We're gonna sort of say, okay, you know, game, you've won. We can't make a 10 out of 10 feature anymore. And there we go. We're gonna do some more stuff. I also saw that there's a lot of elders here, like 30% of the demographic is elders. So why not go for them? Use a newspaper. I think that, you know, that's, if you're gonna do something in a newspaper, it's probably good to do it at an elder group, because, you know, most young people don't really read newspapers. They just read from their phones, like. And we're gonna go for chat, because gaming, you know, doesn't necessarily make sense for elders. I don't think that the game works like this, but you know, it's still a little bit more realistic. Although there are a lot of elder people who are playing games. It just depends on your definition of games. You know, if you're playing Candy Crush, it's still a game. You know, nobody that plays only Candy Crush will refer to themselves as gamer, and we will not refer to them as gamers. But it's still a game, and technically they're still playing games. So from that standpoint, it still works. But I just felt, you know, let's just go into chat. I mean, more people, like elder people, use like things like WhatsApp and all that stuff, like chat apps, to stay in contact with their families and all that stuff. I feel like that just makes more sense. Let's go to the Dino Park. So I love the Dino Park. In game. And yeah, we are growing our market share. We are at 39% in West Europe, where we are based inside the game, but also in real life. I live in the Netherlands, so that's also West Europe. But yeah, and then a lot of drama where we're just not gonna go into. You know, we're just gonna do nothing. We're not gonna reply. And here we have Hey Yeong, or whatever she's called. She's the actress that thinks she can run a business, and she's one of the investors. We hadn't met her yet until this point. That's why the conversation is so long. But yeah, I really don't need investors. I really don't want investors. And judging from the comments when I asked you guys, nobody really wants investors. Actually, let me know if you ever used an investor in this game, because I haven't, and I'm not really planning on it, because I just think that it's sort of, it defeats the purpose a little bit of being a startup, sort of doing it yourself. I guess it's not really true, because startups can also, of course, have investors, but they just tend to push you in a certain direction, which I don't like. I like to play the game the way I want to play the game. So, but yeah, speaking of that, we are revising our game review. We are trying with the sliders to get a little bit more out of it, as I take a sip of my drink and we wait for the results. Ah, that's better. We're also very close to $500,000, by the way. Which I think in this episode we could get sort of a surprise where we get a pop-up saying, "Oh, you've reached $500,000," and I was really surprised, because the last time I looked at it, it was like 300,000. I'm really not paying attention to the money at this point, because we are just making money passively. We're making like 25k a month, as you can see. So we managed to get it up to a 10, but then our aesthetic really went bad. So we moved the sliders too much. That's basically what we're doing. We are doing the postmortem. I wish you could do a postmortem without releasing the feature, because this feature was worse than what we had before, but I still wanted to do the postmortem. So based on the postmortem, we see that everything is like less than enough. But we know we have to fiddle around with the sliders a little bit more in order to get our aesthetic back up. We know it's kind of possible. We're just not sure if we can get the right percentages to actually make it work. So there we go, back on vacation, get the 100% motivation, and just go back to the basically grind of trying to get it right? So we're gonna take 2% away there, going back to 70% on the stack. 1% I think we're gonna take away from technology. Yeah, and that's the setup we're gonna try and, you know, max it out on. And I was really determined at this point to get it to a 10 out of 10. I really didn't want to sort of you know, I didn't want to be defeated by the game, basically. That's what I was thinking about. I felt like it was possible, but it was tough. And I really wanted to get it. And you know, I'm not saying if we're gonna get it. You know, you'll have to see. There's the pop-up. Have 500k cash, so $500,000. I was really surprised, and that's actually what I'm talking about right now in the original like video. I was saying, well, I thought we were at like 300k somewhere. That's how focused I was on trying to think on making this, you know, to work, getting this to work, the game review, and getting the sliders in the right the right settings, I would say. And oh, we're so close. It's a 9.9 overall, by the way. At this point, I'm also saying if we can get it to a 10 overall, I'm fine with that. We're going for a 10 overall. If that means that we have a 10, 10, and 9.8 or whatever, it's fine, as long as we get the 10. I'm not sure if that's possible. I think it's possible if you get like a 10, 10, and 9.9. The game sort of registers at sort of rounds it up to a 10, like a full 10. But yeah, there we go. Back at it, and I really I really, really wanted it. And at this point, I think I said at this point, you know, it's basically time. Or my recording time is over. But I just gonna give it one more try because we're so close. And we're finagling again with the sliders, just a few percent here and there. We also get some free publicity, which is awesome. A bit more market share, which, I mean, it's nice. It's just temporary buffs. It sort of messes up a little bit of the sort of where you stand. Sometimes you feel like you're very good, but then like 5 or maybe even more percent of your market share is based on buffs, and that all goes away in a few months, and then all of a sudden you're 5% less. Also checking the marketing now, and there we can see that, yeah, they're starting well, Gilbert Sin, like the best competitor, the highest competitor, or whatever you want to call it, he's really into marketing. And probably if we would unlock the rest of the world, it would be all purple, to be honest. But that's not really what I'm, you know, mostly caring about. I'm mostly just sitting back right now and watching that slider go, and seeing if we get it. We got it. We actually get it. So we got a 10 out of 10. But it took a lot. It took a lot of investment there. It took a whole lot to get it. But I was very happy. I actually, and that's the good thing that my mic was muted. I clapped my hands really hard next to the mic. And I probably spiked the mic and maybe even hurt your ears if that was actually in the original recording. But yeah, my mic was muted. So you are spared that. So I hope, you know, your ears can thank me. But that being said, this is the end of the video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Next video, I will make sure my mic is not muted when recording, so it's going to be normal. But that being said, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't. It's free. It really helps out the channel massively, more than you will ever know, probably. You know, as always, I've been Hipbone. You've been yourself. Thanks for being awesome. And thanks for watching.